Hello and welcome. This is It's Always About Love, and I'm Lee Evans. I'm here with psychotherapist Lynn Lara. Lynn has been in private practice for many years, and today she's bringing all of that experience and wisdom to help you. We are here to answer all your relationship questions. It's our desire to help and make what you learn from this podcast usable in your life right now. Do you have a concern in your life, a question, or a comment? Send it to us at its always about love, the number 1 at gmail.com. Now, let's get started. Are you there, Lynn?
Yes, I'm right here. I was cheating right then because I got this letter, and so I was sitting here reading it, and all of a sudden you said, "Are you there, Lynn?" Yes, I'm right here. Hi, Lee. How are you, honey?
I'm good. How are you? You feeling
I'm fine.
better? Good.
No, I didn't say that. Yeah, actually, I guess I am feeling better from yesterday. Thank you for asking.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, guess what? We got something in our email box. And would you like to do that now, or did you have something that you wanted to continue from yesterday?
Well, we were going to be working on the inner child some more.
And
right?
And transference.
And transference. Good. I did ask you to write that down, and then Lee, thank you for doing it. I totally forget. Okay. Well, I think, how about if we do the letter first, because don't you think that might be better? I hate to hold people off.
Okay, I agree.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So, would you read it, honey?
Yes, I will. And bear with me. It looks like it's, not too long, but it's long. It says, "Hi, I was wondering if you could give me some help. I have been with my boyfriend for more than 2 years now, and we still are arguing over silly things. When we met 2 years ago, I fell in love with him and wanted to be with him from the start, not giving myself much time to get to know him. I noticed he wasn't so sure about being in a relationship, and I talked to him a few times about stopping the relationship because he didn't seem interested. He didn't put much effort in trying to resolve anything, but every time in the end I stayed because I didn't want to lose him. Since the start, I've never seen him be interested or ask questions about me. Almost every time we had an argument, he wouldn't do any effort in resolving it and would go to sleep straight away without worrying how I felt. And plenty of times
What were you laughing? What were you laughing about right then?
going to sleep straight away. Nothing bothers him, it sounds like. Without worrying how I felt. And plenty of times I cried myself to sleep because I wanted the situation to resolve. It really looked as if he was only interested in having a nice time and not having a problem at all. I guess she means he's not having a problem at all. Also, he is still married. He's been separated more than 3 years ago, but again, he never made an effort to get a divorce and has 2 children. I really don't know what to do. Is it me? Question. Just that I don't love myself? That's a question. Or is the relationship which should I end? Or is it the relationship which I should end? Please help."
Gosh darn it. I was doing fine with this note until I found out he was married. I was going to say all kinds of things about solving it, saving it, and saying, don't worry about this. But,
Yes.
And there's 2 little children. Oh.
He's not available.
Lee, what do you think?
He's still married, according to her. Also, he is still married. He's been separated for more than 3 years, but again, he never made an effort to get divorced and has 2 children. So until he resolves that, he's really not available.
Is she wanting to get married
He
to
hasn't
him?
said that, no.
She hasn't said that, has she?
Yes.
But she is committed. Darn it, darn it, darn it. She's good. Okay. Oh, I didn't want to hear it like that way. Oh, darn it. This is one time when it's extremely frustrating for me not to be sitting face to face in my office with this woman. And this man too, if he would come in. But, there's so much more that we need to know. But again, he never made an effort to get divorced and has 2 children. Okay. I swore that that we were on the way in. I was thinking, I'm going to be on the relationship side. I swear I'm going to do that tonight. And gosh darn it, I can't because he's married and he has kids. Now, we need to know, Lee, is he seeing his wife? How often does he see his children? Does he see his children at all? And she needs to talk to him. Okay, we can go there. He has to talk to her
I
about
agree.
this. And is she okay with just...
It does to
It
me.
really does sound like they're living together. Okay, because there's one part in this note where I was going to say, they're living together. They've been together a long time. You guys, will you do yourselves a favor and do not get involved with men or women who aren't available to you? You're going to get hurt in the end. You are. And it isn't going to work. You have a right to ask questions, to find out what his or her intentions are. You have a right to do that, and you really have a responsibility to yourself to do that. Because what you hope, believe me, and I've been there, and I bet you Lee has too, what you're hoping is that if you just stick it out long enough, they'll fall in love and want the same thing you do.
Yeah.
Gotcha, Lee. But I've been there too. And it doesn't work out. They never intended. And we don't know that that's true with this fellow, but why? I don't know what his relationship is like with his wife. His wife, not his ex-wife, his wife. She may be involved with someone. She may have a fellow living with her.
What's interesting is she makes okay, they've been together for 2 years, but she says, I didn't give myself much time to get to know him.
Right. Well, maybe what I was thinking when you read that was that what she was talking about was getting to know him before they moved in together, because in right after that. But maybe that was just a supposition on my part. Oh, this is frustrating. Okay, we can't give you any real hard and fast rules, listener, because that isn't fair to do with you. I want to be on the side of helping you guys save your relationships and stay together. Because that's what I want for every one of you, to be in love and stay in love. But you owe it to yourself to find out what in the world is going on. Have you ever asked him if he's still committed to his wife? You have a responsibility to yourself, and you have a right to do that, to ask him. Do you know whether he sees his wife? Do you know whether he sees his children? You didn't say anything about that. And so we're sort of left blindly in this. Would you write back to us and answer the kinds of questions that we have? It sure would help us to give you, and I promise you, I want to be on the side of the relationship. I do. That was my motto today. I want to save a relationship today. I can't do it with this one. And little children are involved here. Does he go out and see his children, and does he take you with him? Do they know you? You haven't said so many things that Lee and I need to know before we can help you. Right now I am so frustrated doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, now if
help.
the kids were not involved, if say he had been married but he did divorce, then we could work on the relationship.
Wait a minute.
Well,
what does it mean the kids are not involved? What does that mean?
Well, I said that wrong. Say he's separated, say he did get a divorce. There's still children. But say he got divorced. Would that change the scenario of this?
Well, is he? I still want to know if he's seeing his children.
No, I don't know.
Is he? Well, okay, but I mean, in your fantasy of how this is going, sure, if he's not still married, yes, he's available, at least to be in a relationship, but she doesn't know whether he's ever going to want to get married. Mm-hmm. And she needs to know that. And she has a right to ask it. And if he says, no, I never want to get married again, it was awful, I never want to do it, then honest to goodness, you then, listeners, get to decide. First of all, believe him that he means what he says. He never wants to get married again. Believe him, and then decide, are you willing to be involved with a man who probably is not ever going to want to get married again? And then what you think is, but what if I get pregnant? What if I get pregnant? Answer that, Lee. Well, that young woman.
Then I got him.
But what if I get pregnant? Then
a big mess.
Right. And what's going to happen, Lee? Yeah, well, we don't know whether you got him or not, but that is a fantasy that lots and lots of women
can be a lot of painful experiences.
You know what? Yeah, it can be, but what the new what's going on kinds of things that are being said is that men are not wanting to get married these days. Sure. That's what I've been listening. I've been reading. Wow. Men are not wanting to get married these days. They don't have to, and they don't want to. It's a phase we're going through. It'll turn around and go the other way. But for those millennials who are involved right now and backwalking away and all the other things, it's hard for the person who wants to get married. Because men are not wanting to be married like they used to. How sad. But it's the way our society is changing.
But you feel it's going to cycle back around. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it always does. What?
Let's hope it doesn't wait too long.
Yeah, it always does.
For the women that want to get married.
Well, but okay. What is being married about?
Being married, I don't know. I grew up thinking that's what you were supposed to do. Then I got to a certain point and I decided
is that
I don't
true,
think that's very important anymore. And then I also made other judgments too along the way. And I still think it's a honorable institution. Is that saying it right?
Yes,
If you're
I
going to have
understand
children, I
what you
think it's
mean,
ideal.
but well, then
You
then
think
you
so?
need to go find someone in church. Sure, of course. Or you need to go find someone in a 12-step meeting, because those are the two places that you're going to find an opposite, a male or a female, who is more likely to want those things than someone who is not in a church
So that'd be
or
true
not
for
in a
anyone then
12-step
that
meeting.
has a desire and wants to find someone that feels the same way they do. I think that's awesome. I think that's a good
That's what I
suggestion.
suggest. Yeah. Okay. Well, and 12-step meetings, if you don't want to go get involved because you're not a Christian or you're not religious or whatever, go to 12-step meetings, you guys.
Okay.
Just go and watch for a while. Really nice people are in there. So, and the other thing is, it's all about being honest and understanding what intimacy is in 12-step meetings. And honesty, people speak in a very honest way in 12-step meetings. And they become, the new people who come in become better people as they listen to the old timers. And what that means is somebody with, say, 5 years in that program. It's a wonderful, wonderful program. It is. So those are the two places that I would send my clients to in a second, to 12-step meetings and or to church. A church of your choice, and it doesn't have to be a religious church. A spiritual church is fine too. And that would be like the Unity Church or the Unitarian Church, Unitarian Universal Life Church. I'm probably messing up one of the words in there. Places where they just want to talk about love and peace. It's okay to be in those places. Lee. Poor Lee. I get her. Okay. So maybe we helped you, but you've got to give us more information. You're not telling us, whether you've ever asked him, and if you haven't asked him, why not? And I bet you if you haven't asked him, it's because you're afraid of the answer and you already know what it is. Usually, that's why we don't ask, folks. We don't want our worst fears to be made certain. We already know the answer. He doesn't want to. So then you don't want to make the decision, which is, then do you want to stay with somebody who doesn't want to make a commitment? And maybe in his heart, he feels very committed to you already. Well, maybe he does, but he is still married to his wife. And why then, honey, that's really nice. And I can appreciate that, but why have you and your wife not gotten a divorce? Just tell me honestly. I'm here.
Well, that's some good questions.
Yeah, well,
Because
we
we're
have a
being
right to
asked.
know the answers. But the reason we don't. Why? What's
Because
the
we're
answer
afraid
why
of the
we
answer.
don't ask? Right. Right. It's true. This woman is afraid if she hasn't asked him in 2 years, listen, let me make some rules. A few months, how's that, for finding out if you're with someone who someday wants to get married. Doesn't have to be right now, just that marriage is still on the table for that person. And at a year, if you are not planning on getting married at some point with this person, both of you, you're in some problems. And older people, they can get married 3 to 6 months. They can. They already know what they're doing. It doesn't take that long for them to know what they're doing and who they're with. But the problem that an older person has, in honesty, is that the older man, many of them are looking for a younger woman. And if you are with an older man who is looking for a younger woman, please accept the truth and go find someone else in an AA meeting, in a 12-step meeting, or in a church. Just don't waste your time. Your time is valuable. And there's so much to be gained. The intimacy you can have with someone who's available, not the back walking away. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, you have to listen to yesterday's program because you are involved. The thing is, with this fellow, he's very likely a back walking away. But guess what? So is she, because she knows the answer to probably all of my questions. She just hasn't heard him say them. She doesn't want to. She's afraid. Don't be afraid. You're worth it to end up with someone who's really available to you and wants to be with you and loves you because you're you. Don't give up. So, after having said that, I've also just told you that millennials right now, the male species of the millennial is not interested in getting married. And if the women still are, the young women, then they've got to make some adjustment in what they're saying and decide without marriage. See, you don't have to be married in order to be with someone who's very committed and very in love with you. You don't have to be married. But for a lot of you, it will change your relationship if you do get married. Some of you for the better, some of you for the worse. But it's magic. There's a magic that happens. I'm not talking about millennials because that's a new breed. That's a new way of being. And they're solving their own answers. And believe me, they think they know much more than any of us do. That's a good reason why older men and women are being estranged by their family members or rejected because they're older. Millennials have very little respect for, not all of them, but many of them have very little respect for people who are older. So,
We have 4 minutes.
how much time
5.
do we have?
It's
No,
always
how
5.
come I always ask? And it's what kind of clock inside of me do I have? Isn't it true? I always say, how much longer do we have? You always
5 minutes,
invariably
yeah.
say, it's either 4 or 5 minutes left. Well, what would you like to talk about in the next 4 or 5? I always go over time. When you tell me that, then I go, yes,
I
okay,
know.
well, let me fit this in and let me get this. And
I had
what
a
do you
lady
want to
come to
What do
me,
you want to say,
and
honey
her
baby?
husband, she couldn't get him really to open up and talk to her about anything. And she said every time, okay, say, I don't know what we're going to call our listener here that wrote this in, but she said something in here interesting that every time they had a problem or trouble, where they were not communicating good or there was something bothering her, that he wouldn't say anything to her about it. He wouldn't try to resolve anything. He'd just go to sleep.
Okay,
Sure.
let me say what I think she ought to do. Can I?
Go ahead.
Before I forget. She needs to say, honey, I sure would like to talk to you about this, but I know that you're not going to want to talk about it.
That's it? Wow.
That's it. If I said that to you,
It might make me
what would
want to
go
talk
on for
about it.
you?
Well, because you piqued my interest.
Why? That's right. It's called reverse psychology.
Yes,
However, he can also be an asshole. Excuse me,
that's exactly
and
right.
say, you're right, I don't. But yeah, well, he can, but he's not anyway. So nothing ventured, nothing gained. But if she does say, there is something that I just give anything to talk to you about, but I'm not going to because, gosh darn it, you're just not going to want to do it. So I'm just going to leave it alone.
It's
And
a good idea.
I don't know, it's worth a
Yeah.
try for the lady who came to you. But it may not, it doesn't mean it'll work. But it worked with my daughter when she was 3 years old. What was it that she used to? She just a little girl. Oh, she'd cry. Yes, that's what it was. She'd start crying because it was time for me to go to school, college. I was in college then. And she'd start crying and sobbing. And so one day I went, this is real old. I asked Grandma Amos, who was our babysitter. You'll hear more about Grandma Amos. She helped me through school. But anyway, I said, "What's Tiffany like when she comes here?" She said, "She's fine, honey." I said, "She's not crying and sobbing?" No. So I said to Tiff, the next day on the way, when I had to drive her to the babysitter, so we were about a block away, and I said, "Okay, we're almost to Grandma Amos's. It's time for you to start crying." And she looked at me and she said, "I am not going to cry." And she never cried again. I did say it several times through that week, but
Right.
however, we are not dealing with a 3-year-old child. Oh, shoot.
Yeah,
However,
that's right.
nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Well, almost, but
Okay, now your
I was
4
going to
minutes is
continue
up.
with that. She's okay. I'd asked her to try to give me some
Okay.
kind of example. So she'd say, if I say the room is dark, he's going to tell me everything why it's light. It's not dark. Like a dark paint. No, it's not really a dark paint. He's going to tell me all about and go completely opposite of what I said. I said, what do you mean? And she said, everything I try to talk to him about, he goes the complete opposite way.
hmm 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 Same thing. You just say, try. I sure would like to talk to you about this, but won't do any good because you're going to just say the
Walk
opposite.
away.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
And walk away. And really say, and it's okay. And walk
And just see what
away.
happens.
Well, yeah, I guess. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. It may not change anything. And then you get to decide whether you want to do that anymore or not. Let's see. Because really my daughter was married and is married to a fellow like that. And now they can talk about anything. It took time.
Hmm.
It took time and love. and you have that. Listen, weigh it out. Are you going to get a divorce over this? I hope not, because it's not worth it. So accept the person you're with. You've already tried Lynn's formula for walking away and saying, I bet you're going to do this if I do this. But if you're not going to divorce them, and I hope you're not, because you didn't marry to get divorced. You got married to become intimate. Just love him, love her, continue to be in the relationship. It's not the end of the world not to have all of your needs to talk solved. You can also go get counseling. The counselor can help the two of you talk to each other. You know, let me tell you what I used to do, just so you know. I would have the couple switch places. So the wife would become the husband would become the wife. Got it? And so I'd say, okay, talk. So he'd start out saying, no, I have nothing to say. And I'd say, no, you're the wife. Say something that you want to. And then I'd make him role play the opposite. And then I'd say, tell me what it's been like. But you can't do that, listeners, without a counselor doing it. You cannot do it yourselves. It's not going to work. And now, Lee, you're making us go on and be overtime. But what I just said is a real good idea. And I hope that your
should we
counselor
give
knows
this
to do
writer our email listener that wrote us the email? Should we give this one a name so when we do get a message back, or if we get a response back, that Sharon? Okay. No, we haven't.
Sharon. How about Sharon? Have we had a Sharon?
I like it. Okay.
It just
Sharon, we're waiting to hear from you. We have some questions that we just want you to clarify for us. And
now, we know you're not going to answer them, Sharon.
Reverse psychology.
Did you get it? I'm just playing with you, Sharon.
But
I hope you're
this was really good.
Honey.
Lynn gave us some very good suggestions. Very good. Thank you so much, Lynn. And I did take my notes. And I really want to talk about this, but
I'm laughing because I remember weeks ago I said, stop taking notes.
Still taking notes. Anyway, to all our listeners, we are at email address its always about love, the number 1. Okay.
Now, let me say why I told you not to take notes, okay? It was because every time I then asked her something, she'd say, just a minute, and she'd finish writing down what she was writing. And I went, I know she's taking notes, and she's finishing writing down. And I wanted her to be right there for the program. So it wasn't that I was a mean person. It was, or a controlling person, heaven forbid. It was because there was always but she's
I learned my lesson.
She comes back quickly now.
Well, now back to the email address. Thank you, Lynn. It's always about love, the number 1 at gmail.com. We will be back tomorrow, Friday, one way or another, Pacific time, 5 p.m. So see you tomorrow. And remember, it's always about love. And we love you. Yes, we do.
And we love you.
Good night.
We love you. We do.